Hello, and welcome to the Radiance chapter. I'm Radha, again, welcoming you today, and a very dear friend of mine, Shameena Begum.
Hi everyone.
Who's going to sit with us today and have a heart-to-heart conversation regarding very important topics of women that come from South Asian ethnic backgrounds and how they have to settle themselves in this country and be a part of the diaspora of Canada and become Canadians. Shameena, welcome.
Hi Radha. Nice to be here. I'm so excited.
I can't wait to get into the conversation.
Me too.
This is exciting.
Me too.
I remember when you asked me about the Radiance chapter.
Yeah.
And you asked me, what was it about?
Exactly.
And I was like, are you interested?
And then you started asking questions and everything just came on and you're like, come and see me.
Which is awesome. I do want to start with this question to you, Shameena. I want to ask you, why did you choose to talk to me and be on the Radiance chapter today?
It's not just a one answer question. There are many reasons, many answers to that. First of all, you are a dear friend. I want to help you out in your platform. I mean, first of all, it's a great platform to be because they see people, there's a lot of stuff that we do not talk about or we feel ashamed to because people are watching us. Generally, it's just the stigma that, oh my goodness, what is she going to say? How is she going to judge me? You know, when I say something, and there's a lot of people that I know. So by me opening up here, I can always feel like, what are they going to think about me after this from now on? So I want to change that mindset that because everybody is going through their own struggles, you know, so they need to know sometimes what's going on in the back of the stage, you know.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two is there may be so many people out there who may be going through the same thing that I am, but they don't talk about it, or they think it is necessary to take the necessary steps to move forward. And it's great if you want to do what you want to do, but I'm just here to give you my experience that this is what I did. It worked for me. If you're going through the same thing, it's fine. We are surviving. We are thriving. You know, that's the most important thing. So
we are thriving. That is the most important thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's the most important word for today.
The word of the day.
Word of the day.
Are you thriving? That's the question
I think
of the day.
We all are. As a woman, we all are, because we all face our own set of challenges, be it big or small, hardcore or not. It's just a struggle to be a beautiful thing too, but it's still a struggle to be a woman living in this world. So you're breathing, you're alive, you are doing things for yourself, you're doing things for even for your family, not just for yourself, just for your family. You're thriving, you're happy, you're good.
Wow, that's wonderful. Wonderful. I love that you brought that up. Thriving,
yes.
I like to ask that question sometimes. I like to ask, are you thriving?
Every day.
I like to ask, are you happy? Are you looking for happiness? And if you are, where are you looking for happiness?
I think we are all looking for happiness, and we are never happy with what we have. Be it money, be it the way we look, be it... I don't know, I'm a parent, I have a 15-year-old son. Sometimes I'm like, did I do a good job bringing up my son? You know, so every single thing that we do, there is always this question like, am I good enough? Am I happy doing it or not? There are certain things, maybe you're 100%, but there's always this 0.1%, you're like, I could have done a bit better. You know, there's always that feeling.
Do you think that that's a female feeling, or do you think that's in general a feeling? It's just that we value it as women, as females, a little extra. Maybe because where we come from, you have come from a completely different environment, country, culture.
Yeah.
Than what we have here. I have as well, although I am a born Canadian.
Yeah, you grew up.
I grew up in another country, in another culture. And yet my growing up in my culture is very different from yours. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
So I am born and brought up in Singapore. Singapore is like a very multiracial society. We have Chinese, Malays, and Indians all like living together. So my struggle when I was growing up was again being brown, and being Indian Muslim. People didn't even understand that fact. It's like either you're Indian or you're Muslim. I'm like, no, I'm Indian Muslim, which means I'm Muslim, but I speak Tamil. Like my religion is Indian, but my race is, my religion is Islam, is being a Muslim, but my race is Indian. So that's the difference. And people, young children, even teachers, they didn't understand the fact. So my struggle started from there. So people pinpointing at me as to because we have this concept where during the fasting month, Muslim kids, they get to go home early because we had an afternoon session where class was until maybe 6:30. So we get to go home at 5:30 because some people have to take the bus and whatever, right? Traveling time. I wasn't allowed to go.
What?
I'm Muslim and I wasn't allowed to go. Oh, you're not Muslim. You are Indian.
Really?
I was not allowed to go home.
Wow.
No. So my fight, my struggle, and how to say, them pointing fingers at me started from there. Started from a very young age, from primary school.
How does that, wow. Okay, so moving forward in your life to where you are today.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's an impact of that on you today?
Of course, because I always feel victimized. So I always feel like, oh, okay, when I put myself in a place, right? I always feel like I'm going to be looked at, of course, first of all, because of my brown skin, and people are going to judge me because I've always been judged from a young age. And throughout all these years, 22 years of my life, while I've been in Singapore, people have always been pointing fingers at me and just criticizing me even for even anything that I do. Anything that I do, be it big or small. Like I said, it started from you're not Muslim, so why do you have to go home early? What is Indian Muslim? Oh, you're dirty looking, just because it comes from, put it on YouTube, it comes from the Chinese. The Malays are also brown skin, but like I said, they couldn't understand the concept of being Indian Muslim, that they couldn't differentiate between what is the race and religion. So yeah, I was picked upon.
Do you still feel that happens here in Canada with you?
Not in Canada, because there's no Indian Muslim kind of thing, but obviously there's this brown people, white people thing. I have gone through that when I came here and I started working, putting myself out there in the retail world. So coming here wasn't much of a culture shock or anything, I wouldn't say, because in Singapore we speak English.
Yes.
We speak English, we read, write, everything. Our first language is English. So I wouldn't say culture shock, whether that's the weather-wise, that's a different story. Let's not get into that.
It's snowing outside right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it ever does in Singapore.
No. So we are a tropical country, so it's either rain or shine,
Yeah.
Yeah, the culture shocks wasn't much there. It's just when I came here, I started working in retail because I wanted to know how these people speak here. I wanted to meet people because I don't have family here. It's just my in-laws. That's a different story with them. But might not talk. That's okay. Anyway, so I am a people person. I like to talk. I like to mingle with people. I like to put myself in people's places and find out about them and that kind of a thing. So when I started in retail, I got to know about how these people talk, how their pronunciations were in a lot of things. If you see from my way of talk, I don't have an accent. This word will never get out of my mind. I say pearl.
Pearl.
You say it so differently with the emphasis on the R. Pearl. I say it's pearl.
Pearl.
That's how it's a Singapore way of talking. So we in Singapore have a very different way of talking even English, which is called Singlish, which is a very colloquial way of talking English.
Why Singlish?
Singapore English.
Oh,
Rana, come on, wake up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Wow. I'm just a girl. I can't make these connections. Okay.
See, you say girl. Girl. So we don't pronounce the R so much.
You don't roll your R's.
We
You will
don't.
call me Radha. You're
Radha.
not gonna call me Radha.
No.
Got it.
No, you see, but like I said, I speak perfect English. It's just I don't have those accent, right? That
It's a Canadian accent.
Canadian accent or
Yeah.
whatever. Actually, people like that. So I met a lot of people, and people were like, locals were like, "Oh, I like your accent. You know, where are you from?" They started getting to know me a bit better, and so again, conversations got interesting, and so it was nice to be in that environment until you are paid on commission also.
Oh.
Yeah, when it comes to commission, that's when all eyes are on you, because I was like the underdog. I was new. For me, it wasn't about the money. I mean, minimum wage, hourly wage. What would you think, right? But it was more about me dressing up. I love to dress up, putting on makeup, getting out of the house, looking decent. Like just buying nice clothes and putting myself out there. That was the reason I even got a job. But it was just people didn't like that. People didn't like that. So initially, I didn't care much. I was like, whatever sales, whatever I'm making is whatever, not a big deal. But then people started saying, like, telling me to my face, you should go back to your country. Why are you even here?
What?
Yeah, you should go back to your country.
Why?
Because I don't know if they felt threatened, but they just didn't want me there. Threatened came in later when I finally opened up my eyes, and I'm like, okay, you want to play dirty? I will play dirty.
I like that.
Okay?
Did you play dirty?
Oh, very dirty. That they
for you.
still can't scrub the dirt off their body, I'm telling you. Yeah, then later on I was like, hey, you want to play dirty? I will play dirty. But until then, they were just... that was the threat part, right? Where they felt threatened by me. But it's just because me being brown, they just didn't want me in that environment.
So these people that you were working with, they appreciated your accent, or
Not working with, sorry, the clients who came in.
The clients enjoyed the accent.
I'm sorry, I should have emphasized.
So the Canadians
So the
that you
people
were...
who came in and conversed with me, I'm like, oh, hi, how are you? How was your day? Would you like to have a look at something? And then they're like, oh, I like your accent. I clearly remember this lady. She was an older lady.
I believe that Canadians are very benevolent in nature. I do believe that they are good people.
Oh, they are.
I mean, we are.
You have the
also
pros
good
and
people.
cons everywhere. Yeah.
Yes, for the most part. But sometimes I feel that work environments can bring some competitiveness, which might be nasty competitiveness. I feel it doesn't matter gender. I think it's men and or women.
Yes, of course.
But yes, I guess our color does put us at a bit of a disadvantage with the non-colored people, and our BIPOC way of who we are does threaten a lot of the people, and our strong cultural background of kind of growing between a lot of different sort of communities and a lot of age groups and coming together in that environment also makes us very congenial to be easily compatible to a lot of different kind of people.
That's right, yeah.
And especially I think Singapore, because you did mention that it is multiracial, and you have different people from different cultures, and you face different things from different cultures. So it makes you more
resilient,
and adaptive.
Yes, of course.
Resilience, yes.
And adaptive, yes, of course. I'm not saying Singapore is like they are such a racist country. No. We live together in harmony as well. But I'm just talking about the challenges that I have faced. Yeah. I mean, there are people who have done good to me as well.
Of course.
But just talking about challenges is what happens to you from a young age is what gets stuck to your head, right?
Yes.
Stuck in your mind.
Absolutely.
So and then you kind of bring that excess baggage throughout. You try to. You do, I mean, I feel I've thrown it out, maybe just taken out some clothes from the baggage, but it's still in my head, it's still in my head.
Has that affected your settlement in Canada?
I never think much about what's going to happen, how is life going to be, because the more you think, the more you plan things out. We think one, God thinks something else. We think something, and God has His own plans.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm a very, very firm believer of that. I was brought up in a Muslim household and to believe in my religion. Okay, so that played a huge role in how I've brought my journey of life along. Okay. So coming back to that question, so because I don't think about things like that, I just move on every day. Okay, throw things at me. If I can take it, I'll take it. Get hurt, whatever, just move on. You know how some people, they're like, if they have a problem or something, you just try to like to shun it away, don't think about it. That's just me.
That's you.
That's just me. I plan things like, what am I going to wear tomorrow? What's going to, like meal prep, you know, stuff that I will do. But you know, funny question, if you ask me what was your dream when you're growing, I don't know. I didn't have any. I don't have any. I don't know. I didn't have, I'm not going to say I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to be, no, not even that. No, I just don't.
Why is that? Why is that?
I don't know, because like I said, it's just, life just happens, right? I don't give much thought about that. I adapt to wherever I'm put in.
Okay.
Okay, I just adapt because I was brought up to make everyone happy, because I was brought up in a way that everybody is watching you, you're being watched, you know, so you have to be prim and proper, you cannot go astray, or, you know, that kind of a thing. So, and the other reason is also being a girl from a Muslim household whose family does not really believe in does not approve of love marriages or stuff like that. So I was brought up to have somebody of their choice, like to marry someone of their choice.
I'm gonna interject because I have so many questions right now.
Ask away, ask away.
You're talking about the expression of being brought up in a religious household. You're bringing something to the table.
I'm sorry, I'm going to correct you. It's not a religious household, but to believe in my religion. Religious household can be, they're very staunch about like, oh, you have to wear the hijab, you have to pray 5 times a day, you have to do this. There are so many Islamic views about how you want, if you want to say religious household. Mine is not my parents, sometimes they skip their prayers. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they were in their younger days, you know, right now, of course, they are retired, and, you know, so they do all that on time, but I've seen them like miss their prayers, you know what I'm saying? They were just like living their life. So Islamic household and following an Islamic way, I think is different.
All right. So these are two different things.
It is.
I'm glad for the correction. But I will again ask you this, and I'll reform my question. Brought up to be aware and work your life around beliefs that the religion has enforced to a certain extent, not fully and entirely. So you are not an atheist, is what it says. You actually do believe.
I believe
in the spirituality that your religion teaches you, right? Bringing all of that, I mean, Singapore is a mixed environment, and so is Canada. But we are predominantly a Christian country here, which I don't think is very different from any other religion when you take a religion. But I wanted to ask you, growing up in an environment like yours and in Singapore, like, you know, beautiful ocean, beaches, the island life and the laid back. Technically, we believe that people in the islands are laid back and they're just this wonderful, happy-go-lucky kind of group of people. And you've had some struggles, some problems that you grew out of, I'm assuming. Let's talk about your childhood. Growing up in an environment, whether Muslim or otherwise, just an environment which is different from the environment that I am assuming that your 15-year-old has had here in Canada.
Yeah.
And you, as a young person coming to the country, why did you come here?
Because my husband is from here. So he's been here since he was 9. Again, being an arranged marriage, he moved here, so automatically we move where the boy is.
Yes.
So that's why I moved here.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
So you moved here for marriage. And as you were settling, and I'm going to ask you this because I'm specifically trying to understand if this was ever taxing to you, like in the standpoint of leaving a country behind, leaving your people behind. coming into a new environment, you did touch on the in-laws. I understand that. I belong to a similar background. Was that comfortable for you? How was it for you mentally? How was it for you emotionally
to leave all that and come here?
To come settle here in Canada?
Initially, when you're young, when I got married at 22.
Oh.
So when I got married at that time, you don't think about all that. Oh, foreign country, I'm gonna go be with my husband, go see Niagara Falls. That's how it is, right? So, and then maybe a few months or a few months into marriage, especially when your husband is not settled yet. He didn't have a job yet. He was finishing up his master's. So all that plays a part in how you literally settle down here.
Do you have a age gap between you and your
6 years.
Okay.
6 years, yeah. So he was finishing up his master's then, so we were living with my in-laws.
Okay.
So living with them, and then, like I said, and then slowly life threw curveballs at me, right? Like they were not, how to say, maybe my expectation was such, or they expected something else, or they expected someone of a more traditional person. While I'm not saying I'm traditional. I'm between modern and traditional. I have my traditional thoughts because I was brought up by my mother who had very traditional thoughts, So, and then I had to adapt to the modern world because I was brought up in Singapore. I have, I know how to speak, read, and write English, and growing up in a modern society. So, it was tough to definitely adapt initially.
It was.
Initially, yeah, it was. And then, but if people ask me now, which one do you prefer, Singapore or Canada? I get asked that a lot because
Really?
I still hold on to my Singapore passport. I'm still a Singapore citizen, even after 18 years. Like I said, I got married at 22. So I'm 40 now. I'm not ashamed to say I'm 40 now. Canada made me a woman. It made me a woman, or I became a woman here. Canada obviously has a lot of opportunities. So I found what I like to do, something that would bring me income and also bring me joy in what I'm doing. So I became a woman in Canada. So because 22 to 40, though, it's like a prime age.
Yeah, it is.
It's a prime age in your lifetime. So yeah, so slowly got to adapt, but it wasn't an easy journey but I would like to highlight just one simple word: acceptance. Acceptance. If you accept that this is your life, that this is how it's going to be, things are very different. When you're given option, that's when you're miserable. You're miserable because you have options. If you tell me, drink this, because I have no option, I will accept and I'll gladly drink, and it'll make me feel good. It's going to warm me up, it's going to hydrate me, it's going to nourish me, all the positive thoughts will come in. But if you were to tell me, you want this or orange juice or I have wine or I have if you give me options, that's going to make me miserable. If I drink wine, it's going to make me whatever. If I drink this orange juice, it's gassy, it's going to give me heartburn. If I drink this, I'm going to be too...
So you're not going to be happy with the multiple choices that may be provided to you.
No.
So you're the kind of gal who likes to have that one thing and ready to take it head on and call it.
Not just that. Like I said, I obviously probably had options. The furthest I went was to get my husband a PR in Singapore. We even got that, even thinking of moving to Singapore.
Really?
Yeah. But he's more settled here. Like he grew up here. You know what I'm saying? Like he grew here, he studied here. So like I said, I'm dependent on him, obviously. No matter who you are, no matter, as for a woman, I think we're all still dependent on our husbands or a male figure. We still need that, even just to cry on them, just vent on them, because they're the only ones who will take it. They're the only ones who will take it and not judge you. So
I'm gonna stop just for 1 second, because you said they're gonna take it and they're not gonna judge you.
Yeah, they've lived with you.
I think it's a very important point to make, that your significant other will not judge you. Have you ever thought about that? Is that a thought that anybody's ever had, where you think that you can share without being judged. Things inside of your heart and your mind, or experiences that you may not be able to talk about, and talk to your significant other. You know, they're not there to judge you.
They're not there.
They're there to support you.
What's the point of them? If they're judging you, then it's not a very healthy relationship.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's not a healthy relationship. I think it might be safe to use the word toxic. Because why should he be judging you? You guys are building a life together. You guys are building a family together. You know stuff about him. He knows stuff about you. You're supposed to help me. Why are you judging me?
Interesting.
You were supposed to help me grow. And I'm supposed to help you grow.
Yes.
Because we are in this together.
Ideally.
You know, so, no.
Ideally. Wonderful. I love that. I love that point that you brought up. I think we're talking about so many different things.
So
and
many
I think
things.
it's really interesting that you brought that up. I do have a question about growing up and your relationship with your mom. Because I believe that women have a very special relationship with their moms. And I believe that moms have a very large part to play in who we become.
Definitely,
and who
definitely.
We are. Just wanted to ask you or talk to you about that.
Okay. First of all, you know, when they say, oh, parents are your friends, that is not true probably until you get married. They can never be friends. Your parents can never be friends, for a woman at least, until you get married. Because after you get married, then you're like, Mom, he's like this, he's like that. Or you just tend to talk about, even when you don't open up, she'll end up talking about your dad. She'll be like, Daddy did this today, he wouldn't listen, he's like this, he wouldn't shave, he wouldn't go for a haircut, like just small bickering, you know. So the kind of thing you have with your girlfriends, right? Like you talk about your husband, I talk about my husband, you know, that kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
That's when they become friends, not in the teenage years, because I've heard that so many times. Even when I was growing up, they're like, you know, your parents are your friends. No, your parents cannot be your friends. They are there to guide you in the right path. Obviously, I mean, to a certain extent, we leave it up to the child. You know what? If it's wrong, go ahead and try it for yourself. So coming back to the relationship with my mom, we were never friends, and also they were in their prime age where they were desi parents. They needed to make money for their children, for their children's future. So they were always busy working. So they had their own business, which is a book business. So they were both in the business. You know,
Hold on. Your parents have a book business and you didn't ever read a book.
nope. So their book business, they are more professional books, right? Like
I love that.
Yeah, they sell. I mean, they're wholesalers. So they have like professional books for like lawyers and, you know, those kind of, yeah.
Those
So it's
aren't
not
the books that you just pick up the shelf and read. I don't think so.
No, it's not like that. So again, we never had like a close relationship. I never wanted to get close to her, or she never wanted to get close to me, or never wanted to get to know me, kind of thing, you know, like, right. Coming back to the previous question, you asked me, how is it different that how I grew up and my son growing up, right? Like, I see the difference. If you were to compare it, my mom has never given me a hug.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not talking about now. I don't think growing up. That doesn't make her a bad person.
No,
that doesn't make her a bad person. It's just, you know, that's how she was brought up. So she how to say, poured on me what was filled in her cup.
Yes.
Okay? So how she was brought up is how she would bring me up. But right now with social media and just so much stuff around, and also because I do not want to be that kind of a parent, you know, because of course, as a normal child, I've longed to maybe go shopping with my mom, or just do normal girly stuff that people do here, or what we see in movies. But I have closer conversations with my son all the time. I give him hugs. I make sure I give him hugs. I make sure to kiss him on the forehead before he goes off to school. I make sure to give him a hug before he says good night. Even if he doesn't say it, I'll be like, where is my good night? He'll be like, okay, good night, mommy, I love you. I love you was never said up to now by my mom. Never. I think it's just a desi household. I'm 40, I'm emphasizing again, but I've never heard I love you from both parents. Because and I don't blame them for it. Because It's just in our community not to say that. It might not be here, not in this community, but like back home, we do not have that concept of saying that.
Does that make you emotional?
No, honestly, no, because that's what she knows. That is what she knows. She brought me up in a she brought me up in a way that she was brought up. I'm telling you again. This is what she knows how to bring me up, because that's what she was taught.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not. So like I said, instead of getting emotional about what you didn't have, think about what your son could have.
So in a way, we're talking about breaking those
Stereotypes or whatever word you call that. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it generational
Gap.
trauma.
See, why do people have words until you no, honestly, if
I
you
love
think
that.
about it,
Okay.
why do people have words like this? You ask me, does it affect you? And you started crying. I'm here sitting like a rock. I'm fine, because like I said, I've accepted, and I know that my mom wasn't brought up like that by her parents.
Yes.
So that's how she would bring me up.
Yes.
But I want to break that, because I want my son to have that from me.
But that's what you're breaking, a generational trauma.
Trauma is a strong word.
I agree. I am not disagreeing with the word.
I'm not saying, like I said, until you put a word to it, you do not know what you're going through.
Generational lovelessness, is that?
No, that doesn't mean she didn't love me any less.
Of course she loved you. Yes.
Of course. Yeah. No.
It's a show of love that you're talking about. I think it's
they don't show love.
Yeah, it's the physical embodiment of what your emotional self feels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, okay, I think that our countries and our people have gone through, and I'm going to use the word trauma,
Mm-hmm.
because there were traumatic events that happened in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I had another speaker, another person, a friend of mine, who was here sitting just like you are, talking about very similar sort of ideas. And I do understand that we do belong to the same kind of people.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter religiously.
Yeah.
Different, or we might be different from country borders and stuff. But all of those people collectively went through quite a bit of trauma. Like, our parents are the baby boomers that have gone through, I don't know, they were like doing farming and living their lives, and now they're sitting on jet planes and rocket ships that are going to Mars. I think that growth that has happened in their lifetime is like impossible for us to even fathom, to see, because I believe that change that people go through at a pace that they went through really affects how they actually adapt to that change within themselves. And I feel that an emotional exchange is a very westernized concept, where love is supposed to be shown. We have PDA,
exactly.
we have
we like Canadians. I'm not saying white people or whoever. Canadians, we generally say,
or North Americans.
No, they're like, oh, I love you, buddy, and then the son is out at 16 years old. That's not a buddy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you are showing that. To me, it's like a fake kind of thing. To me, it's just, they may be genuine, but it's just
conditional.
I don't even know the word. You call your son, oh, buddy, like so close to him, and then like you expect him to leave at 16 years old, leave the house at 16
Do you know
or 18.
any kids?
No, I don't. But it's like I've seen. I don't know. Movies are a real thing. Movies.
We can't talk about movies being a real thing, Shameena Begum, because there's porn, and then we don't believe everything.
Let's not go there. But it's like, I've heard even like local people say that, oh yeah, by 18 you should be out, or like 18
because you're an adult.
Yeah, they think you're. Well, what's an 18-year-old going to do? Nothing. 40, we're still figuring out life.
I agree.
I
don't say that out loud.
Why do they? We're still figuring out life, honestly. So what is an 18-year-old supposed to know? Why aren't you there as a parent to guide them? What is wrong in you guiding them?
Nothing is wrong in you guiding them.
What's wrong in your son being in your house until even if he's 30? Son or daughter?
Are you judging the
I'm not judging.
brown people?
I'm not judging, but I'm saying they are also a child. They also need the guidance. That's what I'm saying. So things go astray when the parents are not there to guide their children.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
So you had the guidance from mom.
I had after I got married, even before I got married. Yes, actually, she shaped my life.
She did.
She did shape my life.
Okay.
Okay, because she has installed this chip in my head, saying that if you don't listen to mom, your life is not going to be good.
My God, your mom is more advanced than Elon Musk.
I'm sure she is.
Chips
She's
yet.
been, like, since 1984, chip is in there already. That even now, like, she's just programmed that way. And like I said, I'm not saying it's a wrong thing, because
we're not judging.
by God's grace, I'm living a good life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you turned out to be a good person.
I am living a good life, character-wise, or like just with how I have brought up my life from scratch. It's from her guidance, right? She tried to guide me when I was like in my teenage or whatever. Obviously, rebel, those kind of thing happens, but that doesn't mean she wasn't there. But when I mean parents, is both my parents, like not just my mom, right? My dad was a lot more stricter, but the mom was always like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just let her go. I know how to handle, kind of thing.
Is that how you and your husband parent right now?
Yes.
Are you a good cop, bad cop?
He's always like so strict on him. It's like, what do you call it, the alpha male thing or whatever. Yeah, sometimes. But I always say I gave birth to his best friend. My mom, after I got married, coming here, I was always on the phone with her, and she would guide me like, okay, it's okay, like do this or handle this way. If you're bored, go and do this. If you're bored, go do volunteer work. If you're, and like at a time where she has to know my finances. She has, not my husband, she has to know what I have in my bank account. She's like that.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. So, okay, I want to say this because I think it's important to bring it up here. Financial independence for a woman is actually a weapon in the arsenal. I think if you have the capability of being financially independent, and if you have a mother who can guide you or who can bring you to the understanding of having...
Because she comes from a family of all women working.
Oh, that's amazing.
They had, one of my aunts, she had her own leather business. Then my cousin has her own, like a kindergarten and like a car showroom. So my aunts have all been in... like working for themselves, like independent, like their own bosses.
Did you then believe that you had a shoes to fill kind of a standard ever with your mom? Did you ever feel?
Oh, with my mom, yes.
Yes?
Because everything that I do, I've always felt like I need to make my parents proud.
Is that an intrinsic feeling to you? Or is that something that they have made you feel?
No, it's not something that they made me feel. It's just something.
It's just you.
I feel like they have just, like, if you remember the chip?
The chip.
The chip.
Yes,
it's the chip.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just something that they have instilled in us to, you always get better returns when your parents are happy.
Is that what you believe?
That's what they've told us.
Okay.
And I believed, and I see the results. You always do better when you have your parents' blessings. Let's put it simply.
Okay.
If your parents are hurt, there's nothing good that can come out of you. You know what I'm saying? Out of even maybe just a situation.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have seen that.
Oh, you have?
I have seen that, and I've experienced that in my life. Like, my parents just being so happy for who I am or what I've been doing. Like, they still don't tell me, yes, I'm proud of you, but they go and tell somebody else. You know what I'm saying? They will still say that, and I will hear that. They're not there yet, right, to come and tell me. Again, it's not how they've been brought up.
But do you expect that?
I just want them to know, as long as they know that, as long as I know that they are proud of me.
That's good enough.
I will still continue to keep making them proud.
That's good.
Yeah, till the end, because sometimes my mom is like, no, you're settled already. I'm like, no, what is you're settled? How do you know I'm happy? How do you know that, it's like, I'm settled, or like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, she feels having a car, having a house, having income is settlement.
Well, it is. Is it not? It is settlement.
That's Desi parents' expectation, right? That's like brown parents' expectation.
Okay, tell me what settlement means to you.
I think there's more to that. There's more to just having a house or a car. That is basic. I think you need to feel inner happiness about what you are doing, about who you're with.
I did ask you about this question, didn't I, earlier?
Yeah.
I said, what is happiness and how and where are you looking for it?
I'm not looking for it. I am. First of all, I need to make, how to say, I don't want to say peace with myself.
Why wouldn't you say?
Because I do tear myself apart really badly.
Are we talking about negative self-talk?
Yes, of course.
Why are we talking about negative
Because it's a lot of things that I don't like about myself. First of all, you should have known from the way I say that I don't have an education. I feel that inferiority complex to a little extent. To a little extent, yes.
You're not leaving me room to judge you because you're judging yourself very harshly right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not perfect. What do you think I am?
Nobody is.
No, but don't tell me you don't tear yourself apart. You're like this perfect goddess, this beautiful looking girl, that you don't think that,
Am I? It's the question.
You are absolutely perfect. You're absolutely perfect. We as women, we tear ourselves apart for a lot of things. My tooth is crooked, my hair is like this, I'm fat, my belly is this, my feet is this. Just small, minor things. It could be anything. There's no woman who is perfect to herself.
I don't think there is any human being that is
That's
perfect.
what I'm saying. So why can't I say...
Sometimes even poor animals aren't perfect.
I know.
Poor things. I feel bad for them. They can't speak for themselves. But
I know. I wish my cat said something.
But why the negative self-talk? Where does it get you?
It doesn't get me anywhere. It's just, it makes me, if I can, work on myself. It'll make me work on myself to make me happier. So that's where my happiness lies. My happiness doesn't lie on my husband's hands or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't seek happiness from him to keep me happy.
Okay.
It's his responsibility to keep me happy. Okay? He has to keep me happy. Happy wife, happy life. No, but the thing is, I have to find my own happiness. I'm not saying I'm not happy. I'm not saying I am not happy. But obviously it's like, there's always this like, maybe I should have gotten a degree. Or maybe, even not just education-wise, maybe I should have done more in this area. Or maybe...
I'm going to cut you off here, and I'm just going to say a couple things. You have a 15-year-old. You've been here since you were 22. 22. You worked in retail and held a job and worked in a jewelry industry for a long time. You quit that stuff
to
follow your own dream of whatever it is that you thought you wanted to do, which is just be independent, be self-managed, work for yourself. And currently you do, I don't know how many things. Shameena Begum. I think you are a fantastic esthetician. You have a home-based business where you actually take care of other women who negative self-talk to themselves. And you do facials, you do a lot of aesthetic stuff, and you are also somebody who does beautiful makeup. And I know that because we have had the experience of that. And you look beautiful right now, by the way. And other than that, you also do henna. And I think this entire community knows you extremely well for henna. And let's not forget those huge decadent cakes. The entire bakery items that you do, that you actually do create just out of no training.
No training,
just
absolutely
no
training.
Of what you'd like to.
Oh, I absolutely love feeding people.
Where is the room for negative self-talk? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't see all this until people point it out to me. Because, you know...
So if I tell you this, you are beautiful, you are fully capable of doing whatever it is that you can because you are an amazing person.
I'll take it 50-50. No, I accept, but it's a 50-50 thing. I feel like there's just room for improvement, and the other part is like, yeah, I know.
You talked about acceptance.
Yes, I know.
And you said that it is important.
Myself because I'm still working on myself.
But you won't accept my version of you. Why is that?
The 50% is the acceptance. The other 50 is my self-doubt.
So acceptance 50%.
I've accepted you. I've accepted what you have said to me.
You have?
I have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do you find it difficult to take compliments?
Yes, because and if you notice, if you say something, I always have to say something negative after that. Because
Do you?
I do.
Shameena Begum, your hair looked beautiful today.
Yeah, you know what? I struggled with it today. It wasn't a good shampoo, like it took me a long time to straighten my hair. Like, you see what I mean? Like, I have to say something negative after that. I do not take...
Why, to cancel out the compliment?
I do not know how to react to that.
How about a, wow, thank you?
I'm learning. Yes. I'm learning. Yeah, slowly I'm learning.
How are you
I've
learning
been
this?
very negative about, like previously, right? Like all these years, when people tell me something, I like, yeah, it was terrible, and like how I struggled to,
Get to it.
get to it.
Is that because of that difficult childhood where you've had issues with being who you were, the skin, the religion, the people that you were around? Do you think that
Like
you could connect that?
I never put a finger to it, but I have in my household, like, again, I think my parents have been like that. When I feel I look good in this dress or something, she'll be like, no, go change your jewelry, or like, yeah, nobody would have looked better with the other. Just something, there was just always something,
When you say
because it was never
parents,
good enough.
Parents, both parents or mom?
No, both.
Or dad?
Both.
They would
sometimes
both have
both, yeah.
something like that to
Yeah,
say to you.
not in a very
Negative way.
negative or demeaning way.
No.
But just maybe they couldn't give a compliment.
Maybe they couldn't give a compliment.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't know how to take
I do not. That's what I'm saying. So when you talk it out,
How are you with hugs?
I love hugs. I give everybody a hug now.
Just checking.
Oh, come on. I give everyone a hug now. Yeah. I don't care. But yeah.
Have you ever thought about these things? Have you ever looked into your past and looked at those things and the behaviors that you feel you adapt to or you adopted in your life, where they may have come from?
Of course, I sit down and I think about, like, just think about what I've gone through, but never, like I say, put a finger to, like, oh, is this why I'm like that?
Would that be helpful, you think?
Why?
If you were to figure out what that problem was?
How is it going to help me?
I'm just wondering.
No, that's why I ask myself, if it's going to help me, okay, then I'll sit and brood about it or come up with a solution to move forward. But if it's not going to help me, then I'm like, you know what, whatever happened.
How are we going to know if it's going to help you or not unless you actually do the work for it?
That's what I'm saying. Why do I have to do the work? Because right now I'm happy with where I am. I don't have any complaints about my life or the people around me, or I don't think people have complaints about me. If not, I would have heard, or like, I'm sure, I mean, like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm sure people have stuff to say, which is fine, but it's just, when you sit, like I said, when you have words to say for that kind of a behavior, then you sit down and think, oh yeah, that is how I was feeling. Oh my God, it's trauma.
Have you heard about mirror neurons?
No.
Do you know what that is?
No.
So we have a set of neurons in our brain that get activated around the people that we're with. So they always tell you you're only as good as the company you keep.
Yeah.
Okay. And that idea is actually a pretty physiological. It actually goes right down to your cells and to your neurons. So the people that you hang out with, oh, I like that change of emotion. The people that you hang out with, are the nurturers or the people that mold how your thought process will keep going, like how you think about things, because that's what mirror neurons is. So if you're among happy people, people that are happy, people that appreciate world, life, personal, whatever, no self-negative talk or whatever it is that you want to think about, whatever their trait might be, you have neurons in your brain that will then start mirroring their thought process. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, of course. That's why since young, like your parents would say, hang around with people of your same intellect or something, right? Like if you hang around with like studious people so that you will become like them.
Yes.
That's how it is. Yeah. But the questions that you asked me, it's none of the above.
It's none of the above.
It's none of the above.
So it's not the people.
It's not the people. I need to find a new set of friends. I really do. Because my friends are either grandmas or they're like 50s. Yeah, they're all older people.
Why do you have friends as older people?
Because when I came to Canada, my mother-in-law was the only person that I know here, right?
That makes sense.
So it's like my mother-in-law's circle of friends or people that she knew. Then I got into the community and then narrowed down to the people that I was comfortable hanging around with. Okay, so obviously this small group or extended group, it's never about something something like maybe when you're in need. It's always like dinners and parties and just enjoyment. You know, so when I say none of the above is they never nurture my thought process of what I can pick from them. I've picked, that's my fear. That is my fear, that I do not want to be in their, have the same thought as them. Because like I said, we come from very different backgrounds.
So you do need a new set of friends.
I don't need a new set of friends. So that's what I mean.
Shameena Begum needs a new set of friends. Let's be friends. Call me. I like that. That's wonderful. This has been a pretty great conversation. Is there anything that you feel that we didn't touch on?
No, I think we've touched on everything. The main reason I feel I wanted to be here was because, like I said, either being the religion side or being just as a woman, you do not need to seek help. If it's not, no, because I didn't, I think we all, no, like I said, if it's really affecting you, you are like, you know, on the verge of suicidal, what? Please don't quote my word on that. Like, go get help. You know, that's a totally different story. Thank God my situation wasn't such. You know, I could either figure it out or just push it along with me. That doesn't affect my life. You know, so that's why I just felt that.
I think what you're trying to say is that you can be a strong woman. Is that what you're trying to say?
I am a strong woman because I've gone through a lot alone. And a lot alone. Because being in Canada, like I say, it was just me and my husband from having a child to bringing up a child to starting my business to finding friends, finding happiness to just being who I am. What you see here is just all self-made. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm completely self-made, and I'm very proud to say that. I like I said, I have my insecurities, but that's not even the issue here. That's not even what I want to say. It's okay to have insecurities. It's okay not to get that help if you think you're okay. You do not have to rely on somebody else for happiness. Your happiness comes from within. You have to find your own happiness, see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Happiness for me obviously is my family, of course my parents. I would die for them. I still work hard to make them proud. You know, like I said, I still work hard to make them proud, and everything that I do, it's like, is my mom going to be happy? Is my dad going to be happy? They are already happy and proud of me. You know, they already said that. But like I said, it's like an ongoing thing, right? Like they're getting old. It's hard to watch your parents grow old and go through the things that they go through. So I still do things to make them happy. I love my job. I love the people that I meet. Some have become really good friends, and you know, some have become more like a family, introducing to their extended family kind of thing. So like I said, I don't think much. Life just goes on and you go along with it. It's a journey, right? If it's a journey, you hop on the train, you just go where the train takes you. That's all it is.
I love that you believe what you said, and you want everybody to understand is that happiness is within.
It is within. It is within, yes.
And that you have to be able to find that happiness within you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should not have to rely on somebody else to provide you with that kind of support or happiness. Yet, I will mention that you also did mention that if you believe you need the help, you
of course, absolutely, absolutely. But like I said, I'm just trying to say that if you didn't get that help and you feel like, should I have gotten that help? Maybe I should go get help. If you can figure things out yourself, why fall into that kind of a thing where you are forced to get that help?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
This society believes.
That's the thing. It's the society that believes, because they like to put words for every damn thing and be like, oh, this is trauma. Oh, what you're going through is emotional trauma. What you're going through is like
generational trauma.
Something, whatever you are saying, you know. So it's like, you know, they like to use words, and now with social media, they like I said, they will point out the smallest thing and be like, it's mental health. If that's mental health, what I'm going through, what I went through, it's beyond trauma then. You know what I'm saying? So do not, I didn't, I'm not going to talk for other people. I didn't put a word to what I went through, or identify. I think that's what, I didn't identify what I went through because I just moved along.
You just work through.
I worked through it.
Believe in being strong. Just give me a definition of what is a strong woman.
From the beginning, I said any woman who is thriving is a strong woman. That's it. Like, there's just so much we women go through without even us realizing. Like, you just said all the stuff about me. Like, I know I do this. It's just I would just say, yeah, it's my day-to-day job. This is what I do. I love doing it. But to actually elevate it and say, oh, Shameena, you are actually doing this, to hear it from someone else is a big deal. So, it could be something small, something big. A woman just thriving and doing stuff for herself, it's a strong woman herself.
Well, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. This has been so amazing. I've had so much fun talking to you.
Me too.
This is and your approach to life and how you look at things and how you think about things and what you believe to be your truth and what you believe to be the truth for you to follow. It's been eye-opening and it's amazing. It's very motivating. And you have immigrated, and there are many of us that are immigrated that seem to not find our place in society, that don't have that. Only have that negative self-talk and don't understand how to work through that and to actually be the person that they want to be. I think this is an extremely helpful conversation for them to understand that you're enough, you're strong.
You are definitely enough. Don't be hard on yourself, because it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it to be hard on yourself. It's really not. Your mental peace, your I always say, if I'm not alive to do stuff, then how am I supposed to take care of my family?
That's true.
If I don't take care of myself, then how am I supposed to take care of my family or my parents or the people around me, right? So inner peace and inner happiness is very important.
I will, however, close this conversation with one request to Shameena, if everybody would agree, is please cut down on the tearing yourself apart.
Yes, you have to. Yes, you have to. Yep, that's very important. Like
I said, you are a very successful and lovely woman.
It's still a learning process.
Really not tear yourself apart.
I know.
Shameena,
I tried.
Thank you.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure.
I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And talking to me and us.
I'm so glad
and
to be
opening
here.
up about these things, which I've known you for a while. I don't think I've ever had a chance to.
No. That's the thing, right? Like, you see people on the surface, but you don't know what they go through or what they've went through. So
amazing. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. It was my pleasure to be here.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.